Oh my god, there's so many shooty boys. It doesn't matter. This is so stupid. Everybody. Welcome back, everyone. Today I just wanted to show off some of the weapon combos and builds I've been using that are perfect for farming the new game modes on Damnation. The Tools War update added some crazy map condition combos that changed things up quite a bit. So all these weapon combos and builds will be updated in the class guides coming out later this week. And hopefully in the meantime, it gives you some ideas to try out for now, because this new modifier with everything baked into it all at once is honestly the most stressful fun I've had since launch. But once you start bringing the right tools to deal with everything, it makes it a lot easier. And bringing some high stagger stuff for when it spawns like 8 to 10 Ogryns at once helps a lot too. So you really want to start bringing stuff like the Mark 8 braced auto gun or a shredder auto pistol, which is just good on every character that can bring it. And last guns do pretty good too. But when I was playing, I really noticed the bolter putting in a ton of work to remove those big threats like really quickly. And same thing with the flamethrower. It just tears everything up really fast. So it makes things a lot smoother of an experience. And the game in the background is the new hardest difficulty high intensity shot gauntlet with the blackout modifier. And the full VOD of it's linked in the description if you want to go check it out. The mode is absolutely insane with the sheer amount of spawns and waves just running at you. And the shredder auto pistol veteran is probably my favorite build just for taking it on. It's not just like fun, it's crazy strong, and it lets you take complete control of the game with the amount of grenades that you're able to throw out and just the sheer amount of pressure you can put on the map. Mainly just removing the shooty boys quickly is just going to let your team have a lot more freedom, and it makes those really stressful parts of the game end up feeling pretty easy because of how many tools you have to deal with everything. And I know I said I wasn't going to make a new power sword in the last video, but I did. And Mr. Milkers pulled up with Power Cycler in the shop. While I was editing this, I was like, I'm just going to go check my shop. And I had rolled like 50 power swords up and not gotten Power Cycler at this stage. So the relief to finally have this blessing, like I can't even describe it in words how happy I was when I saw it. I like jumped up. I was so excited, but unfortunately I have no plasteel left because I was rolling so many power swords and the new shotguns up. So I have to go farm plasteel before I can even use it. So probably going to do that when weeklies reset. And I know some people want to gatekeep power sword users, but I don't care. I use every weapon in the game. And at this point, I just want to use whatever's the most fun. And the new power sword is just cool. But the coolest weapon in the game is the new fire shotgun. I've had a crazy amount of fun with this thing. And if you haven't tried it out, lock it in. The Dragon Breath rounds on this thing are everything you could ask for. And it's 100% one of my new favorite weapons. It's just so satisfying to jump around a corner and blow away a group of heretics and the Emperor's Holy Fire. It's everything I could have asked for in the shotgun, like all the stuff I hated the old shotgun for. The new one does it well, and when you get no respite, you can just damage stack pretty much infinitely on single targets of like monstrosities and just melt them. But for some reason, the fire shots just penetrate forever right now, so you can kind of just clear lines of anything out with this thing. It seems really stupid, but it just stops when it hits a wall. Other than that, it just goes through any kind of heretic it finds. So the only downside to this thing is it chugs ammo and it's like relatively low ammo count, but it's so fun to use that it doesn't really end up mattering. And so many people are playing Psyker right now that you end up having most of the ammo to yourself on the map anyways. So if you want to see how I have used this one too, it's linked in the description. And when I do my bet weeklies this week, I'll be bringing the new power sword in this thing pretty much the entire time because it's just going to be insanely fun. And I've tried it with two builds, the Grenadier reload speed one and the crit build. Both are really strong, but the crit on this thing lets it start deleting almost everything. And the crit doesn't scale on the fire damage from what I noticed. It's more just to hammer the shots off. And a lot of people told me the slug shotgun's really insane right now too because it can one-shot Reapers, and mine's just a gray and I almost one-shot it, so I could totally believe it. The only problem with the slug shotgun is it can't infinitely cleave through everything like the fire boy, so I'm going to keep using the fire one for now. The only thing I really don't like about the shotguns overall is that you can't load a whole magazine or tube, whatever you want to call it, of the special shots. I really think that they need to add like a pop-up window if you hold your special button down to load either full normal ammo or full special ammo, so that way you could switch in between them whenever you wanted, or if you just tapped your special, it loaded one special ammo. But I don't want to get too shotgun sidetracked, even though it would work really great on the Zealot combo too. A few weeks ago, a lot of people recommended me to use the heavy sword, and the more I use it, the more I fall in love with it. I have to say it's probably my favorite Zealot weapon in the game because it cleaves through almost every elite in one hit once it's ramped up. It's easily one of the best melee weapons in the game once you get it rolled right, and it's really only weak against like thick boys and monstrosities, so I usually take the flamethrower or the bolter with it. But like I said, I think the shotgun would probably do pretty good too, and I know a lot of people like using the MG12 and the braced auto gun, but the heavy sword just cleaves through everything that those would usually take out so fast that having the bolter to deal with all the big threats is pretty much the perfect combo from what I found. I also know the new Thunderhammer is in the game and people are like trying to figure out if it's good or bad. They removed the animation cancel from the Thunderhammer, so like both of them feel kind of weird to use now. And I do really like the OG Thunderhammer, but I had a problem with the new hammer where it passed through the target I wanted it to hit, and it hit the next one, and that was pretty much my last game with it. I just don't really like the new Thunderhammer. The power fantasy that's described on Thunderhammers in general is that they kind of have an explosion at the end of them to do like a little AoE damage. I don't mean some like massive AoE nuke or anything like that, but like just enough of something to at least AoE CC around the Thunderhammer would make a lot more sense. I know that the Shock Maul does that or whatever, but it just doesn't make sense that the Thunderhammer doesn't do that for me. And I just feel like they missed the power fantasy on the hammer altogether. So maybe if enough of us complain, they'll change it like they did the bolter reload thing at the launch of the game. So I guess whining might be the key to victory. And that's one thing that I'm really good at. Until then, I got a new bonky boy on the Ogryn that is crazy fun to use. The Mark 3B Bully Club plays like the Bull Butcher. It is so good. And when I used it, I paired it with the new Heavy Stubber. Initially, I wasn't interested in the new slow firing Heavy Stubber, but I got an Emperor's Gift of it, so I figured like I might as well try it out. And it's basically an LMG sniper rifle that never has to reload. And if you've been watching for a while, you know I love the stubs, so you'll probably see a game with it go up on the alt channel in the next few days. And for the Ogryn, I've basically just been taking this stuff in the Gigantus guide. But a Mark III Cleaver and a Bully Club go a really long way in these new game modes. They pretty much chop everything up, and the Power Maul can hard carry a lot of the new affixes with a Ripper gun or a Stubber. So if you haven't checked that Ogryn guide out yet, it pretty much explains like all the nuances of what I'm doing. And I really like using Ogryn on the new Hunting Grounds rework. And when you're playing it on the blackout condition, you can't really see because the Ogryn doesn't have a good headlamp, so you can play the horror game if you want to. I got jump scared way too many times, and I'm going to move on to Psyker and its new build. A lot of people were torn on wildfire. They're like 50-50, is it good, is it bad? But you can really tell it's working good when the performance of the lobby tanks to 1 FPS, when it rapidly keeps spreading onto everything. It looks really cool when it lights everything up when you weren't even attacking stuff, and I found it's really good in chokes and on hordes where the stacks can roll over to the elites and just start like snowballing onto everything, but it's kind of just fizzles out outside of that. So if you're not playing a high intensity map, you probably won't get a lot of value from it. And I would say the majority of the time, the other 2 feats in a row are just better, but wildfire is a pretty cool feat when it does get rolling. The real problem with Psyker right now is the kinetic barrage is just bugged, or maybe it's just the RMB charge for Brain Burst that's bugged. But either way, left clicking for Brain Burst is something most people stop doing the first day that they play Psyker, and now we have to go back to holding LMB down because it's the only way to actually get a Brain Burst off. As you can see, it's just a complete mess. It keeps like resetting the bar meter like down as you like left click, even when it's fully charged. And Fat Shark really needs to lock it in and gets this fixed ASAP. But at least the new AoE Force Sword is cool. So I ended up getting Slaughter on mine with Blazing Spirit, and I guess with Wildfire, the Blazing Spirit thing would be kind of cool if I had Bloodthirsty, but once you get ramped up, this sword starts tearing everything up. And after using it in a couple of games, I think that Bloodthirsty Slaughter might be the best blessing combo on it, because with all that damage ramped up, if you're just spamming crits off with it, you would just be deleting everything. The only problem is I personally don't have Bloodthirsty, so that's my next grind, is I'm probably just going to be slamming 4 swords until I get it or Mr. Milkers pulls up. So those are some of the builds and weapon combos I'm personally using this update when I'm farming and just going for plasteel to make sure I win. And I might do a couple of Diablo 4 and GTA videos while I get some of the new class guides ready and update all the text guides and all the infographs or whatever. So hopefully you guys can enjoy my videos for other games too. I just don't want anybody to think I'm quitting Darktide again like the last time I posted one video for another game. I just play whatever I'm having fun with. And I do have to say, the new update so far is really good for Darktide, and I think that if they keep doing stuff like this, the game will end up in a really good place that we all wanted it to be at launch. But I will say a lot of the bugs and broken blessings are taking a toll on the game right now, and there's something that really needs to get looked at. But I'll be going over all that in the thoughts and opinions about the patch video later this week, because there's quite a few things to talk about. So I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you again soon.